let's discuss about the fluid milk and its handling. As you know that milk is a very important commodity in our country. Pakistan is the fifth largest milk producing country in the world, and in our region we are the heaviest milk drinking nation. So that would mean that milk is one of the very important commodity in our daily life. It is present in our coffee and tea and a lot of desserts that we do consume in routine. So that would make it a very important commodity to be discussed, and we need to know about the storage and handling of milk in a way that we can get maximum benefits out of it and the milk does not get spoiled. If you talk about how to take care of milk at a domestic level, normally milk can be received in different forms. When it is in the form of a fresh milk, it would not have any rancid taste. Rather, it would have a pleasant taste and flavor when it is a fresh milk and there is no activity of microorganisms there. And it's also important to maintain the low temperature of milk during storage and handling. The milk should be treated in a way that all the utensils and containers that do come in contact with milk should be clean and sanitized, and the low temperature must be maintained because milk is a kind of medium that does absorb surrounding flavors, aromas, odors profusely, so that might affect the quality of milk with unpleasant taste or flavor. When we talk about the raw milk storage, after some time there is activity of lactic acid producing bacteria that would produce the lactic acid. This lactic acid would decrease the pH of milk, resulting in the curdling of milk or spoilage of milk. This happens in summers because we do come across high temperatures in summer. So higher is the temperature, lower is the shelf life of milk. So it is recommended that milk must be boiled soon after receiving, so that would reduce the microbial load from milk and the life of milk can be enhanced. And it should also be covered to avoid the contamination of microorganisms from environment. It should be placed in refrigerator away from food that have got strong smells, because it has got tendency to absorb different smells. If we talk about what is the effect of heat on milk, there are a lot of changes that can take place in milk, like change in color, flavor, and viscosity of milk. When the milk is heated, the color might be changed and a light brown tinge can be observed. It would depend upon the length of heating and the temperature of heating that this brown tinge can be produced. It can also have the burnt flavor as well when there is excessive heating involved for a prolonged time. Similarly, there are other volatile compounds such as iodine compounds. They might get volatilized by high temperature, so that would also have some impact on the quality of milk. There is another phenomena of scum formation on milk top by the action of heat, because heat would have certain undesirable changes in protein. The protein might coagulate, and that proteins would form up a leathery mesh at the top of the milk, which is insoluble layer, and it would have coagulated albumin mineral salts such as calcium phosphate and other fat globules that would make up this layer of scum formation at the top of milk during heating. If we talk about this coagulated albumin, the coagulation would take place by the action of heat, So this albumin might sediment at the bottom of the container in which food is being heated. So in industrial operation, we would have particular type of cooking medium such as double jacketed boilers or milk cookers that would ensure that there is less amount of sedimentation of these coagulated albumins. Similarly, when this albumin it gets away from milk proteins, this could float on the top of milk and that would form a scum again. If you talk about this coagulation reaction that normally takes place from 65 degrees C to 90 degrees C, there is a protein in milk called lactalbumin that would start its coagulation at the temperature of 65 degrees C, and this results in thickening of milk because the lactalbumin is coagulated, so that would increase the viscosity of milk. Similarly, there is another protein called casein that can be coagulated by acid and heat. So if we increase the acidity of milk, that would coagulate the milk into the form of a curd. Milk that may be appearing normal, if that is heated at high temperature, that might form that curd or that might coagulate the proteins. So that would basically depend upon the acidity of the milk and the duration of heat as well as the salt present in milk. So these are the all different factors that determine the coagulation properties of milk. And this coagulation property is not always undesirable. Certain times we do want to have this property in order to develop certain products such as cottage cheese. As you are aware that cottage cheese is produced by adding lemon or any other acid to milk and then heating. So once the acid drops the pH, the protein would coagulate and heating would facilitate this coagulation process, and we receive the resultant curd that can be further processed for making cheese. If it's not processed, it is called as cottage cheese, but when we do have other processes, then we could have different variety of cheeses. So this coagulation would depend upon amount of acid, amount of salt, and heating operation of the milk that would decide the quality of cheese in the final product. So this was all about handling of fluid milk and the desirable or undesirable changes brought about in milk by heat, acidity, and its composition.